Amtrak Day, May 1st, 2021, Amtrak's 50th anniversary. We're here in northern New Jersey to get some New Jersey Transit, CSX, NS action, and of course, Amtrak action on the Northeast Corridor later. Got to commemorate the 50th anniversary of that great passenger. Well, Union is on the New Jersey Transit Raritan Valley line. This is actually the old Lehigh Valley Railroad. It's also part of Conrail shared assets between CSX and Norfolk Southern that use this line as well. So it's one busy corridor. But this is a Raritan-bound train with an ALP 45DP stopped here at Union Station, a very popular train watching spot. Next stop is Cranford. No, excuse me, next stop is Roselle Park. Then he'll go through Aldine Junction and head for Cranford on the original main line out of Jersey City. Approaching at 7:52 is train 22V of Norfolk Southern. NS train 22V en route from Harrisburg to Elizabethport, New Jersey. Jersey Transit Raritan Newark train at 8:08, arriving at Union Station with another DP. Approaching is Hotshot 21M, Croxton to Chicago at 8:32, passing Union Station. Hotshot 21M, one of the hottest trains on the railroad, heading to Chicago. Pretty reliable train through here. Pounding over the joint leading to the gauntlet switch.
Conrail detector milepost 14.9. Track 2, Townley, New Jersey. No defects. Out.
At 8:50 we have an NJT train stopped at Union, headed for Raritan with another DP. That was a frightfully short 20E en route from Chicago to Croxton. Some nice horn action on that ace leader. That train replaces the old Conrail Mail 8. Here we got transit heading for Newark at 9:06. See what he's got on the back. Westbound NS at 11:02. And that was a monstrous NS train 211 en route from Croxton to Atlanta, Georgia. Well, at 11:35 a.m. it's been so far a New Jersey Transit and NS show, but we got a westbound freight coming, and this is a CSX. Typical GE junk. Lot of lumber from Quebec on this train. Here we got some axles coming up. Smells fresh as a daisy. That CSX monster, which bear no resemblance to the odor of daffodils, roses, or violets, was Q421, Selkirk to Rocky Mount. It's loaded with trash and Canadian lumber. To the North Elizabeth station on Amtrak's Northeast Corridor. Just in time for a Washington-bound Acela Express at 12:19. And a New York-bound New Jersey Transit train. North Elizabeth Station is a little ways south of Newark, New Jersey, and a little ways north of Elizabeth, New Jersey. It's Amtrak's 50th anniversary, and we're going to be spending some time here capturing a number of Amtrak trains, as well as New Jersey Transit trains, on this special day. That last Acela Express that went by was train 2251, route from Boston to Washington. Looks like we got a northbound Amtrak approaching at 12:21. 64s. Next stop, Newark. And that train with the double-headed ACS 64s was Amtrak 164 en route to New York. Here we have a Keystone train for New York. And that train was train 664, the Keystone from Harrisburg to New York. Note the signal facing north on track 1, flashing green, signal 128. That means proceed according to cab signal indication. 1233, southbound New Jersey Transit. This train is bound for Long Branch. And at this location, we see the ALP 45 DPs in electric mode. This is the rather sterile and unassuming North Elizabeth station. This station is actually in a nice area compared to Elizabeth. And this is a great spot to catch Amtrak and New Jersey Transit trains, as they're usually moving through here at a pretty good clip. But they have to slow down soon after for the reverse curve south of Elizabeth Station. Trenton-bound train at 12:43. He's slowing down for his next stop at Elizabeth. $12.55, that was a Rahway to New York train with an ALP 46A on the point. Pulling Comet 4 cars. Those cars kind of resemble the old Canadian National paint scheme that they used on their equipment back in the 60s and 70s. Northbound Express at 109, New Jersey Transit. This is an absolutely beautiful day. A little breezy in the low 60s, but not a cloud in the sky. Right at 1:13 p.m., this is the first of a triple bagger of Amtrak trains. This is 147 from Springfield, Mass. to Roanoke, Virginia. Transit northbound at 118. And at 1:25 p.m. we have a New York bound Amtrak train number 82, bound for New York. Starting to pick up speed after negotiating the Elizabeth S curves. Next up right away is Amtrak 665, the Keystone from New York to Harrisburg. Trenton-bound RMUs at 140. Always nice to see those. The time is 1:47. You can see all the fans that are out trackside along Amtrak on this Amtrak 50th anniversary day. The approaching train is Amtrak 99 en route from Boston to Newport News, Virginia. Amtrak's put on a good show here at North Elizabeth. See if these guys can coax a horn blast out of this guy. And right away, coming up number 2 is the Acela Express 2252 from Washington to Boston. He's running about 20 minutes late. Northbound New Jersey Transit Express at 2:02. These catenary poles were erected when this line was electrified from New York to Washington back in the 1930s, and they still look modern. We've moved to the southbound platform further down. What's turned out to be a delightful afternoon. Not a cloud in the sky, and the wind has died down somewhat, and it's gotten a little warmer. And we have a New York bound train on New Jersey Transit at 2:14. Comet cars. This is an original ALP 46, not the A, which has a slightly higher horsepower. But these are powerful enough, about 7,100 horses. And approaching at 2:20 towards New York is Amtrak 88. He's en route to Boston. at track 1 we have a New York bound transit. Southbound transit. They really zip along through here. Approaching now at 2:32 is Amtrak 161, New York to Washington, on track 4 right near us. And he's already slowing down for the Elizabeth curves. Southbound transit at 2:36. And that's a Long Branch bound train on the North Jersey coastline. Those are the only trains that stop here in this direction. His next stop will be Elizabeth Broad Street in just a couple of minutes. You might notice a practice of the locomotives sounding their horns when they approach a platform, when they're on the local platform, that is. That's a practice that dates back to the late 1960s with the Robert F. Kennedy funeral train. Around this area, there were fatalities. One person got run over by a passing train, and another person got electrocuted by standing on top of a boxcar, and he brushed against the catenary, fried instantly. So since that time, they sound their horns when approaching a platform as a safety measure. Got another transit right behind at 2:42, but he won't be going very fast. Not with that Long Branch ahead of him. New York bound Trenton Newark train. Gonna hang around here for 3 more Amtrak trains. Southbound Acela 2253, Regional 87, and New York bound 140. Actually Springfield, Massachusetts bound 140. Beautiful day out watching Amtrak trains as well as New Jersey Transits on this 50th anniversary Amtrak day. Having a good time?
Oh, it couldn't be better.
Beautiful day, beautiful day. Hey, I got a couple other rail fans with us enjoying this 50th anniversary Amtrak day. How you doing, guys?
Good. Good.
Beautiful.
Fun.
Beautiful day.
There's an Amtrak right there.
Ah.
By the way, no
317, we got Amtrak 140 from Washington to Springfield, Massachusetts. Should have Acela 2253 coming south shortly to Washington, with 87 following close behind. At 322 is Amtrak Acela 2253 to DC. It's nice to get those because they're going to be replaced by the new Platypus Acela's. Otherwise, the Avelia Liberty, the new Acela trains, a year from now, those things may be gone or greatly diminished in number. Southbound Express at 328. 3:30, we have a New York bound Acela I wasn't expecting. That was train 2254 en route from Washington to Boston, Acela Express. And approaching on track 4 at 3:33 is train 87 from New York to Norfolk, Virginia. He's going kind of slow behind a transit local. 87 is really creeping along here. And that'll be our last train here. It's been an entertaining day here at North Elizabeth with all the Amtrak trains. Happy birthday, Amtrak, number 50. We moved further south to an extremely famous location on the Northeast Corridor, just south of Elizabeth Station, along the Elizabeth S-curve. The top of the parking garage provides this outstanding afternoon view of action. And looking south around the curve. Around the curve is Elmora Interlocking. Used to be a station there called South Elizabeth. This building right here, Union County College, years ago it used to be Elizabeth Town Gas. We have a transit for New York stopping at Elizabeth Broad Street. Down there, that building with the clock tower, it looks like it's some kind of a restaurant or catering hall. That's the old Jersey Central Depot in Elizabeth. That closed down, back in the 70s. They used to run trains out of Jersey City through here. This is part of the old Royal Blue Route. I remember coming here in the early 1970s, seeing CNJ powered freight trains here, some B&O freight trains too, as well as electric locomotives on the Penn Central through here with freight trains and passenger trains. It was quite a place back then. With that railroad line down there by the depot, the old CNJ has long since been abandoned.
Alright, I'll back up.
Here we got another New York bound transit at 413. Coming into the station, nice unrestricted horn on that DP. That was Amtrak 194 en route to Boston at 4:16. It's okay. Transit meet at 4:22. We have a transit train coming in from New York at 4:29. This is a great spot for rail fans. On a cloudless day like this in the afternoon, you can't beat the lighting. It's about as good as it gets. Just think back to being here in the early 70s and seeing GG1 powered freight trains, passenger trains, E44 powered freight trains. Those are electric locomotives that were very boxy. And occasionally you'd see a CNJ GP40P with a Jersey Coast train going through. Happily, one example of those are still in service in that paint scheme, the New Jersey Transit 4109. Time is 4:38. He rounds the curve. He'll be hitting Elmora interlocking. And here comes 42, the Pennsylvanian from Pittsburgh to New York. Monster train of Arrow MUs from Trenton to New York at 5:08. always nice to see those 40-plus-year-old MU cars. Bound at 5:13. And at 5:38 we have a transit train stopped in Elizabeth Station. We got Amtrak 669, New York to Harrisburg overtaking. Yeah. Some frantic action there. The Acela was train 2218 en route from Washington to New York. Here comes Amtrak 156, Washington to New York. By at 5:44. A lot of great angles can be had from up here. 6:17 we have a New York bound transit train creeping up on track 1, expecting Amtrak 168 from Washington to New York to come by around now too. Amtrak 168 by at 6:18. And at 6:28 we have a transit train coming in, Trent bound. Amtrak 135 down from New York to Washington is due around now too. And 135 of Amtrak is rounding the bend just north of North Elizabeth, further back on track number 3. was stuck behind the transit train on track 4. And that concludes our whirlwind rail fanning day on Amtrak's 50th birthday. Happy birthday, Amtrak.